Warning, this content may be disturbing to some audiences. Subscribe. If you dare.
He screamed help. And only I came. When I screamed fire, the whole building came. Hey everybody, welcome to ANECDOSED. People ask Reddit. What knowledge might save your life one day?
Number 1.
If you're ever on a dark highway at night and suddenly an unmarked car behind you flips police lights on but you don't feel right about the situation, drive slowly and cautiously to a brightly lit/populated area before pulling over. You can also call 911 to find out if there are actually any cops in the area that would be out there to pull you over. If they say no, request for a cop to meet you at a nearby location. There are a lot of carjackers/muggers/etc. that use fake police lights to get people to pull over on a dark and lonely roads because who isn't going to stop for a cop? If it is a real officer, it may annoy them that you made them follow you for a few miles to a public area, but better safe than sorry. As far as I know, as long as you're not leading them on a high-speed chase/clearly trying to evade them, they can't punish you for it. Be anal though, and maybe some actual police officers can chime in.
Number 2.
If you ever drive into water with your car, try to get out ASAP. Do not wait until the car fills with water and equalizes pressure, as some people may tell you. Most situations where this is the case, the car will sink faster than equalization. Even when full, the water pressure outside is higher than inside. Best advice is to keep a seatbelt cutter and a glass breaking hammer in your car. Get out as quickly as possible.
Number 3.
If you happen to be walking near a downed power line, do not take your feet off the ground. This can create a potential between you and the ground and cause a discharge through your body. Take small shuffling steps away, without picking your feet up, from the power line and call the authorities. If you happen to be walking near a downed power line, do not take your feet off the ground. This can create a potential between you and the ground and cause a discharge through your body. Take small shuffling steps away, without picking your feet up, from the power line and call the authorities.
Number 4.
If a service dog comes to you for attention, immediately locate their owner. They could be using a last-ditch effort to get help. A few months ago, when I was on a delivery for work, I was stopped by a dog who ran out in the middle of the road, residential. I got out and tried to move the dog, but it followed me all the way to the door of my delivery. Once I was done, I checked the dog's tag to bring it home, and I noticed he had all kinds of medical tags. After I realized what the dog was trying to do, I ran towards the correct address and the dog led me through a screen door on the porch. His owner was passed out on the floor, and I called 911. The individual had a phone, brought by the dog, by its head, and a bag of medications by his side. The dog had done everything it was trained to do, but the person had passed out before it could do anything. The ambulance came, got his pulse back, and took him to the hospital. I don't know if he ended up surviving, but if I hadn't checked the dog's tags and realized it was a medical animal, I wouldn't have hurried, blatantly invited myself in his house, and ultimately get into a point of survival.
Number 5.
A person who is drowning doesn't look like people drowning on TV. When someone is drowning, they rarely cry out, can't wave their arms around, and will often just bob/sink at the surface for a very little while, often gasping, before submerging. Don't expect it to look like the movies when you're keeping an eye on swimmers. To expand, they will be vertical in the water, head back, mouth open. You have around 30 seconds to get them out before the average person goes under at this point. It is usually a silent process. If you are at a pool and it gets quiet, get alert.
Number 6.
Commenter. If you somehow find yourself so deep in a body of water that you can't tell which way is up, blow bubbles and follow them up. But not too many bubbles or you'll run out of air. Person B. On a side, if you get buried in snow, let saliva drip out of your mouth. Gravity will tell you which way is up.
Number 7.
Commenter. You can make emergency calls in Australia, even if you have no credit and no bars of reception on your network. Your phone will use any network that's around. Person B. Same in the US as well.
Number 8.
Commenter. If you are deep frying something and the entire effing pot is on fire, do not put it out with water. Turn off the gas/electric range. Don't pour water on it. Cover the pot with a lid. Don't pour water on it. If you don't have a lid, dump baking soda on it. Don't pour water on it. If you pour water on it, your house might burn down and your face might melt. Person B. If I am remembering correctly as well, do not use flour in lieu of baking soda. The small particles, when dispatched into the air, can cause an explosion.
Number 9.
When someone shouts duck, don't question it, an effing duck. Yelled duck to my friend. His response quacked right before the side mirror of an old Chevy pickup truck smacked him in the head. Never laughed so hard. It was low speed in a parking lot. Gave him a hell of a bump. But it could be worse, as a faster or dangerous thing could hit him.
Number 10.
If you're performing CPR on someone who's stopped breathing/heart has stopped, don't stop until EMTs take the body away. Don't stop after 2 minutes thinking, well, that didn't work. CPR typically won't cause the victim's heart to suddenly start and/or for them to jerk awake. It's mostly to force blood circulation to prevent brain death. You're not forcing life into them, you're preserving a corpse to keep a revivable state.
Number 11.
If someone gets stabbed, do not take the knife out if possible. If it stays in, it acts as a plug to the hole and will reduce blood loss. Apply pressure around the wound as best you can and call an ambulance. Especially if it's serrated. I almost died because my buddy thought he knew better than me. I love you, Sean, but F you and your shitty ideas.
Number 12.
If in danger, scream fire. Because if you scream robber or murderer, some people may think it's your problem, but fire is everyone's problem, and they will come to help. My source. A guy with a knife once entered through a window in my apartment building and tried to kill my neighbor. He screamed help. And only I came when I screamed fire. The whole building came. The guy just exits where he entered as soon as possible.
Number 13.
If a hostile dog is confronting you, do not run. It can outrun you, and the minute you turn your back, it'll see it as a sign of weakness and may attack. Instead, keep eye contact with the dog and try to find something long like a branch or pole. Face the dog and start slowly backing in the direction you need to go while shouting at the dog. If the dog comes at you, hit its face with the branch and shout. It will most likely back up out of the range of the stick. Use your phone to call for help if you can.
Number 14.
As you age and experience those minor ailments of life, such as bad knees or frozen shoulders, get them fixed. I'm 54 years old and I have personally watched healthy family members ignore these issues and act like cowboys. Only to be put in nursing homes way early because they can no longer walk or care for themselves, simply because they never had these things taken care of.
Number 15.
If you have a squeezing, tight sensation in the middle of your chest that travels up the jaw and shoulders, or down the left arm, stop what you are doing and chew up an aspirin and wash it down with water. Then call emergency services. You are likely having a heart attack and aspirin is known to thin the blood enough to save your life.
Number 16.
Yell at a knife, whisper at a gun. If you yell at an attacker with a knife, there is a small chance that could startle them and they drop it. At the least, you are attracting attention and can get out of the situation. Always whisper at someone with a gun, or at least, speak slowly and calmly. If you yell, that could startle them, and you could get shot. If someone is pointing a gun or knife at you and asks for your wallet, give them your wallet. Odds are the person wasn't planning to hurt you anyway, but don't bet on your attacker's goodwill. There's nothing in your wallet that can't be replaced.
Number 17.
If you're in a water landing in an airplane, don't inflate your life jacket inside the cabin. This will cause you to float to the top and you won't be able to get out through the doors. This killed a lot of people on Ethiopian Airlines Flight 961, who emerged from the crash just fine but drowned in the cabin. Just swim past the door, then inflate the life jackets.
Number 18.
Establish a code word with your parents/guardians and loved ones for the off chance you're kidnapped and/or held for ransom. Could be a way to speak their name or just make a greeting that is known for your parents to be alert. Personally, I always refer to my father with Dad, but if I ever find myself being taken for ransom and told to call my parents, then I refer to him by first name. Even if you're not held for ransom, oftentimes kidnappers have their victims call their parents or guardians to make small talk with them. This is done in order to ward off any sense of alarm from parents/guardians and maximize time for whatever the kidnappers intend on doing. My father told me if I ever used this form of code talk, he'd contact the authorities immediately and have my phone's location traced, which brings me to another tip. If you do not have a mobile phone on you and your kidnappers do not too, request to use a landline because I've heard police officers have an easier time locating a landline than a mobile phone.
Number 19.
If you are being chased by a swarm of bees, do not jump into a lake or other body of water to escape. This isn't a cartoon. The bees will simply wait above the water to sting you, and now you have created a situation where you move slower, can't breathe as well, and suffer worse if the toxins affect you. You may even swallow a bunch of bees gasping for air. Also, water has unseen predators that you've now introduced to the equation. If pursued by bees, just keep running and running. They will defend their hive to a large proximity, perhaps even a mile. Just run until they feel they've won.
Number 20.
There is no such thing as a fair fight. If it's a life-threatening situation, fight dirty. Attempt to bite if you are pinned down, and press the base of your thumbs onto their eyes if necessary. As soon as you get the opportunity, run towards the nearest place with people around, and report to the police. Obvious, but often people view fighting as a boxing match.
Make sure to share your personal story in the comments below and have the opportunity to be featured in a future video. Also, if you like these topics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to continue seeing more content like this every day. See you next time.